June 6, 1944. Strongpoint WN-62, Omaha Beach.
In his pocket, he carried a letter from his girlfriend. "The invasion will be their grave. We will throw them back into the sea." He had written these words 3 days earlier, after Field Marshal Rommel himself had inspected. In 12 hours, this same young man would be found weeping uncontrollably. His gun barrel warped from heat, surrounded by 13,500 empty shell casings.
He would watch an invasion force so vast
that his mind would simply refuse to process what his eyes were seeing.
the Atlantic Wall. German propaganda called it the most formidable defensive line.
Along the Normandy coast, 17 million cubic meters of concrete. 1.2 million tons of steel. 3,700 obstacles on the beaches. 6.5 million mines had been laid. Hitler declared it impregnable.
Colonel Ernst Goth, who commanded the 916th Regiment, had calculated that
these calculations, however, assumed unlimited ammunition.
An assumption that would prove fatally flawed. June 5th brought weather that meteorologist Walter Stuba declared impossible for invasion.
Stuba assured the High Command that conditions would remain poor.
Based on this forecast, Rommel had left to celebrate his wife's birthday.
Even naval patrols had been cancelled due to rough seas.
Unknown to Stuba, the Allies possessed weather stations in Greenland.
(23:15), German radar stations began detecting unusual activity. But the operators had seen this before. Allied deception raids. June 6th, reports began flooding in.
Paratroopers. East, West. British, American. Dummies with firecrackers.
Do not move, Major, until the situation clarifies.
The response from headquarters. Do not move until the situation clarifies.
I knew at that moment we were lost, von Luck wrote.
Every minute we waited gave them time to consolidate. Yet we sat, paralyzed by our own command structure. The first grey light began to illuminate the channel.
German observers began reporting something
that their training had never prepared them for. From horizon to horizon.
A sea covered with vessels.
Not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands.
6,939 vessels. The largest naval armada ever assembled.
To the German defenders, raised on propaganda of Allied weakness. The sight was psychologically devastating.
The naval bombardment commenced.
The USS Texas fired 255 14-inch shells at Point du Hoc in 34 minutes. HMS Warspite would deliver over 300 15-inch shells.
Concrete bunkers designed to withstand any bombardment
were crumbling like sand castles.
The Luftwaffe could muster only 319 sorties on D-Day.
Against 14,674 Allied sorties.
Priller and his wingmen made the only Luftwaffe attack. His position, one of the few undamaged, commanded perfect fields of fire.
He claimed to have fired 13,500 rounds in 9 hours.
His MG-42, firing 1,200 rounds per minute, contributed to bloody Omaha.
But the German defenders began experiencing material shock.
A mental breakdown caused by confronting overwhelming force.
His position, one of the few undamaged, commanded perfect fields of fire.
He claimed to have fired 13,500 rounds in 9 hours.
His MG-42, firing 1,200 rounds per minute, contributed to bloody Omaha. But the German defenders began experiencing material shock.
A mental breakdown caused by confronting overwhelming force.
No matter how many Americans fell, more appeared.
Every destroyed landing craft was replaced by 3 more. The naval gunfire seemed unlimited.
By midday, German positions began reporting critical ammunition shortages.
Defensive plans had calculated ammunition for a limited assault.
Ammunition calculated for a 3-day battle was exhausted within hours.
Every attempt to bring forward reserve stocks failed. Every road was under attack.
American destroyers would fire hundreds of shells at a single target.
We're rationed to 4 shells per gun per day now.
The German armor reserve, the force Rommel relied on, remained paralyzed.
Hello? Hello? Is anyone there?
By noon, entire divisions had vanished from the communication network.
As darkness fell, the impregnable Atlantic wall had been breached. Division combat strength 35%.
All coastal strongpoints lost. Artillery 90% destroyed.
While the Allies continued landing fresh troops, as if D-Day was just the beginning.
His position, one of the few undamaged, commanded perfect fields of fire.
He claimed to have fired 13,500 rounds in 9 hours.
His MG-42, firing 1,200 rounds per minute, contributed to bloody Omaha.
But the German defenders began experiencing material shock.
A mental breakdown caused by confronting overwhelming...
We're lit up! Parachute flares!
The shells came from the sea with perfect accuracy.
We lost half our strength without seeing a single enemy soldier.
Meanwhile, the artificial Mulberry harbors were already being assembled.
Hans von Luck's Panzer Grenadiers advanced towards Sword Beach in darkness.
We were immediately illuminated by parachute flares.
The shells came from the sea with perfect accuracy.
We lost half our strength without seeing a single enemy soldier. Meanwhile, the artificial Mulberry harbors were already being assembled. As German reinforcements attempted to reach Normandy. The Das Reich Division, stationed near Toulouse.
It took 17 days to reach Normandy. A 3-day journey. They lost 30% of their vehicles.
Allied logistics operated with stunning efficiency.
Landing 15,000 tons of supplies daily, more than the entire German army in Normandy consumed in a week.
June 12th, Carrington fell.
My regiment no longer exists. The survivors are psychologically broken.
June 13th, Michael Wittmann achieved one of the few German tactical victories.
German propaganda seized on this as proof that German arms could still prevail.
But it revealed the futility. British losses were replaced within hours.
We were immediately illuminated by parachute flares.
The shells came from the sea, accurate as hell.
We lost half our strength, and we didn't even see them.
Meanwhile, the artificial Mulberry harbors were already being assembled.
We're immediately illuminated by parachute flares.
The shells came from the sea with perfect accuracy. We lost half our strength without seeing a single enemy soldier.
Meanwhile, the artificial Mulberry harbors were already being assembled.